Ready?
Yeah.
What's my frame? Where am I at?
So obviously, as you know already, this is me winging it,
Yeah.
which I seem to be.
Good at doing.
Well, I do it a lot. It doesn't mean I'm really good at it.
That's true. It's life. Yeah, life.
So the idea of the videos is just to meet up with a few people who have either helped me or inspired me or talked openly about what they've been through, how they cope or how they're trying to cope. And this is the second one. So obviously last week was Rob Quirk, and this is Paul Albert. Paul's one of the guys who, I guess, inspired me to open up first of all. So him and Leon, through, I can't remember if you put something on Instagram or social media, or we started chatting, or what it was. But there was a period back in 2018 where both Leon and Paul, I felt they made it acceptable for me to open up. And although, you know, I wouldn't say my troubles were behind me, I was dealing with stuff on my own and not talking to anyone. But seeing these two guys starting to put stuff out there really inspired me to do, I guess, all this. So
it's great. I didn't know actually that. So, and for me, I think posting stuff, it just felt really natural to me, and talking about things. That's what I've always done. My family were always like that. My mum sort of worked for, was volunteered for Samaritans for 20 odd years, as well as her other jobs. So it was always something that to me was like, well, why wouldn't you talk about these things? And
so where did it all kind of start?
It started, I guess, around 2018, mid-2018, and it was work-related. At the end of the 4 jobs, basically, that I lost.
Okay.
So I lost these 4 jobs in a short period of time, and I said I could always find reasons why they failed, and there was great reasons, and they weren't my fault. But there's also a point when I've got to look at myself and understand why. There must be something about my personality that isn't aiding me in these situations or this environment, and I was already also wavering a little bit about whether I wanted to continue doing that work anyway, because the industry had changed so much. So I think lots of things came on, and then obviously there's the pressure as well because my wife's freelance, and when the 4th job had ended, so to speak, that's when I started to wobble. And within a week, though, a really good friend of mine offered me some work producing a photo shoot, a big campaign for them, and I obviously accepted it, and I was fine. I thought, yeah, great, cool. But then I remember the week before, I think the pressure, I suddenly thought, what if I do this wrong for him? After everything, what if I fuck this one up? What if I really screw this up now?
Yeah.
I've then, failed with a great friend, so to speak, as well as all these other things, and nothing's going to ever work again.
And at this point, you're already looking at yourself, wondering...
Yeah. Well, it just started, yeah. It suddenly got condensed into almost a week, 10-day period of, okay, I've just lost this 4th job, what's wrong? And then the pressure of accepting this piece of work, but the fear of failure and the fear of... It always become a running joke. He's lost another job, and, to everyone, oh God, what next, sort of thing. And whilst, I could sort of see the humour in it as well, and I probably perpetuated that to an extent, suddenly it was getting real. It was like, I can't mess this one up now. I know it's only like 3 weeks worth of work, but what if I do it wrong, something wrong? I'm not good at what I do anymore. And that's when I've, really hit the low point. Suddenly I was just overwhelmed with fear, utter fear and terror of who I am, what I do, what if I do it wrong. It was also, I felt that was the only way to deal with it, was to deal with it on my own. But it was getting harder because suddenly I was like, got to somehow manage that, and jobs are changing, and so that was in the background that I was dealing with. And then my work situation was terrifying. And then suddenly it came, so it almost came to a sudden halt, my overwhelming inability to move out of bed, because middle child, which was 13 at the time, suddenly got rushed into hospital. This was like within a 2-week period, I think, of me really hitting my lowest point, starting that new piece of work, terrified of messing it up, and then suddenly Lola rushed into hospital. That was August, beginning of August 2017, no, God, 2018. Or was it 2017 now? I can't remember. Anyway, cut a long story short with her, she was in hospital for a month, well, actually 2 different hospitals. Burst appendix, surgeon said it's the worst burst appendix he'd ever seen, you know, and so she was in the hospital for the first time for about 10, 11 days. My wife stayed with her all the time. I was at home with the other 2. So in a way, me got forgotten for a minute, but suddenly this terror, oh my God, this has never happened before. Child in hospital and everyone kept saying, oh, appendix, you'll be out in 2 days. But it was so bad, it went on and on and on.
So your own stuff in your head, you were kind of distracted away from it?
Yeah, although I was sitting up all night long, worrying about her and then also thinking about myself. So I had these 2 things going on, and that's when I started doing photographs out of my window, which became a bit of a theme of my life. Still do it, still current, great view. I would sit up till 4 in the morning, whatever, just on thinking of everything, and then still trying to keep this piece of work I was doing going for my friend, which lucky enough I was able to do most of it while sitting in the hospital in the daytime, and looking after the other 2 kids. Who were at home with me, and getting to hospital to see Lola and to see Jess, my wife, and it was just like, whoa, what's going on? And she came home, but 4 days later something went wrong again, and she was rushed this time to Great Ormond Street, and she had to have another operation to remove some basically internal things like to fuse together because of the first op. So again, horrible, scary stuff going on, seeing your kid lying there with at least 5 different tubes going into her, and she was phenomenal. I mean, genuinely was phenomenal. Hard as nails. Yeah, I mean, seriously, just did brilliantly. So that kind of went on, and I was still producing this shoot, but you know, that was like in the back of my head. I've got to do a shoot. This is happening. That's happening. Right, manage it. Keep going. And then, and this is the tricky bit. She came out of hospital. Within a week, me and Jess, massive argument about bits with things that come up in the past in our relationship, and she kind of moved out for 5 days with our youngest and couldn't communicate with me, and I was in pieces because I just didn't know what had I done at that point. So I'd lost I'd lost all these jobs. My daughter's been in hospital for a month, just trying to keep myself together. My family, my brother,
dealing with it yourself, or?
Well, and my brother was there constantly, phenomenal, absolutely incredible. My mum and dad, close friends, were coming to see me. Lola actually had stayed with me. Zach wasn't home during that period. My son, he'd gone to Reading Festival. He didn't know what was happening. But Lola, she said, no, I'm going to stay with you, Dad. Considering what she had been through. So she was around, which was great. But yeah, and my brother and friends would come and see me, and I just didn't know what was happening. I had a million questions and was getting no answers at all. And I probably sounded like a lunatic because I was like emailing her, texting her, trying to get some sort of. Anyway, everyone deals with things in different ways, and anyway, it got resolved, and it was just such a massive amount of trauma in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And then I started going back into freelance work, and the first bit of work I got freelancing was for the woman who'd hired me at the very first job where this all went wrong, right?
Right, okay.
Doing some work that I wasn't even, it was artworking basically, overseeing an artworking project for TfL London. I'd never been and managed the artworking project. But I had to do it, obviously for the money and the rest of it. And I remember I could barely walk in there most days. I mean, I was shaking. I'd stand outside for half an hour, being sick.
Because of your own.
Because I'm a failure. Yeah, I'm a failure. How can I do this?
Yeah.
Working. I remember just feeling awful every day, going in and having to go and sit in the bathroom and hide. And anyway, that took me through. And then by the turn of the year, I finally went to the doctor and told them what was going on. They put me on medication.
So your GP?
Yeah, which was great, you know, but for me talking about it wasn't a problem, you know. Finding the right person to talk about it was a problem.
Yeah.
And I've seen 1 or 2 that just wasn't...
Therapists?
Yeah, wasn't working, I don't know. I found that talking to other people, friends, and stuff, and not necessarily about my experience. So what was interesting, what about me opening up about my problems on Instagram, it enabled other people that I knew to approach me.
Which I did.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. You, but actually, and we didn't even know each other really. But people who I knew really well, who I would ride with, spend a lot of time with, suddenly were like,
Have a word.
which was amazing.
Yeah.
And I felt honoured that they would talk to me. And I think that's definitely why I a big part of sort of cycling and how I connected with it is that very moment. And a lot of the guys I will tell you I've cried tears of joy at the end of an epically stupid day that's really, really hard. And I probably cried tears of pain or anguish on the road, or asked for help on the road, as we've all had to do. And I find that is really unique about the cycling community, the fact that you expose yourself. If you really get into it, you find a group of people that you trust, who become your friends off the bike as well, and you expose yourself physically and emotionally on a ride, which you can do. When it comes to them having to open up about real world stuff,
it's not that challenging, really, is it? It's not that difficult to...
No. You're like, they've seen me sobbing in Lycra, and I've had to ask for help, or sit on someone's wheel to get me home, as it were. All of those things just make you kind of go, so what? About it to talk, and I hope it then impacts on them as well if they ever have any issues.
It has. We spoke about it earlier, and obviously I didn't record it.
It's all the good stuff's off camera.
It was yourself and Leon who were open on social media, and at the time I was kind of okay. Had been through the worst of it, and was dealing with stuff.
Okay.
Probably not great, but I was dealing with stuff.
Right.
And I hadn't talked to anyone. And then when you, Leon, probably a couple of others started putting stuff out on social media, I was like,
okay, yeah,
it's kind of okay to do that. Talking's all right. Yeah. And although, as I said before, I was feeling fine, I still had this weight on top of me, and I still felt a lot of pressure, and I still didn't feel right. But as soon as I started talking,
it just eased things.
That weight came off, and if it wasn't for people like you, Leon, I wouldn't be where I am now doing.
So for me it was kind of weird when I realised it was a thing. The talking was a thing. I was like, it just wasn't ever a thing for me, and I'm pleased that it was never a thing. And I just can't see the benefit of keeping things that are big in your life locked inside you and not dealing with them. And I know there's that fear of confronting yourself. Yeah. That moment when you're like...
It is that initial leap.
Yeah. But if you bury it, if you ignore it, and you just keep moving on, it's going to come out somewhere.
It just
builds. It just builds. And it either comes out, and you end up going down that really dark road you went down, right? Which, thank God I never faced that. Or I think you just end up just locked in your head forever, and part of you just becomes a not particularly pleasant person.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I didn't want to be bitter, resentful. I needed to accept responsibility for some of the things that I had done, but I didn't want to. By keeping it locked in, to me, it was. I knew I would have ended up just, and I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be someone who just held on to things and. So by thinking them through and working on them, that's what's helped. And now I do have mechanisms, I suppose, in place to cope when I'm feeling bad. So it's like through this whole period, I've had a few wobbles, but I know when they're coming. So I've definitely managed to find ways that certainly help me deal with stuff, which is, but I think just having great people around me is really hard. And that's fortunate. I can't assume that everyone has that community, and I have through my cycling friends and my family and all my other friends. So that sort of has helped me.
Cool.
Yeah, things are good.
Cheers.
Nice. Thank you.